Have you ever been on a dive site and wondered why someone's kit and configuration looks totally different to yours? Have you ever wondered why there's no yellow hose coming off the regulators and they don't seem to have an octopus? Well, if you watch this video, maybe you'll find out. Hi, I'm Andy Non-Diver and welcome to another episode in this series of scuba diving tutorials where I'm going to be talking to you about the Hogarthian long hose method of regulator and hose routing. If this is your first time here then, please consider clicking the subscribe button below. That way you'll get to see all of our other scuba diving tutorial videos, plus a load of films and stuff we've made through diving. At the side of that you'll see there's a little bell icon. If you click that, that'll give you a notification every time we post a new video. But if you don't have a YouTube account, if you click this little link that I've just posted up here, that'll take you straight to a video that we've made. It'll take you 2 minutes to set up an account with YouTube. That way you can like, share and subscribe any videos that you watch on YouTube. You can even start your own channel. But make sure you stick around right to the end where I'll be giving you my top tip. So if you're interested then, grab yourself a brew, sit back, put your feet up and I'll show you how it's done. So on these videos then, I'll be using the Apex XTX DST with the 5th port edition. So DST standing for dry sealed, so it's got a dry sealed or environmentally sealed spring chamber. It's got a turret on the top, which is the T-bit, and then I've added the 5th port, which changes it from having 4 ports on the turret to a 5th port there, which makes hose routing on some of the configurations much easier. So I'm on the single tank setup right now, and the 5th port is pointing uppermost with the environmental seal protected and pointing downwards. So the first regulator we're going to put on, okay, that's going to be our second stage. So that's for me to breathe off if my buddy or another diver has an out of gas situation. This necklace will be worn around the neck, so it's just going to sit around about there for if I need to give them the regulator I'm breathing off, and I can just pop this straight in my mouth. So the one I'll be breathing off all the time, we'll call this our primary second stage regulator. It's on a 2.1 meter long hose, comes off the same side of the first stage regulator, so it routes round my side, goes underneath the canister torch, it's hooked up under there, or if you don't have a canister torch you can stick it in your belt loop, comes around the back of your head and then sits in your mouth. So we'll be breathing off that all the time. Note that my primary and secondary second stages are exactly the same. That way whatever happens on that dive, if I have to give someone the one I'm breathing off, the one I'm then going to put in my mouth, I can configure to work exactly the same as the one I've just taken out. So for me there should be no change other than to swap a regulator. Point to note on the primary second stage is, again, I've got a little bolt snap on there that's connected by the zip tie and O-ring method, which obviously I'll post a little link to that video that I made a few months ago of how to do that if you're not sure. And when that's not being used, you should always clip that to the D-ring on your shoulder rather than just letting it dangle freely. Therefore, if you are to move, it isn't going to drop and get smashed and broken anywhere. So on the left side then, over my left shoulder, we've got the low pressure inflation hose. Note that it's exactly the right length to reach from the first stage to the inflator valve. That way there's no kinks, there's no sort of big loops of the hose, and it's not going to get damaged or caught on anything. Then we've got an inflator hose for my dry suit, which again is just long enough. It's not too short, so it's going to make me feel like I've got to pull one way or another, and it's certainly not too long that there's a big sort of loop in that, which makes it hard work because it's going to get caught on things. And finally, off one of the high pressure ports on the first stage regulator, we've got the SPG, and once again the SPG has attached to it a bolt snap to clip it up onto my waistband. So it's not too big like a big console, it's just the SPG because everything else I need to know will be on my computer. As I'm donning the kit, the first thing I'll do is I'll be putting my left hand through the left shoulder strap and I'll connect my inflator hose to my dry suit straight away. So as I put my arm through, I'll immediately pull that inflator hose through and connect that into my dry suit. Get my arms in. So now that I've got the kit on, the first thing I'll put on is my second stage. So you pop that over your head, necklace on, and that should sit nice and neat in front. I've even got the elbow on there just to make it, when it's in my mouth, not pull too far around, so it's going to sit nice and neat. The second thing I'm going to do is get my primary second stage, pull all that out, make sure there's no kinks in the hose. I find the best way of doing this is to grab the hose, feel all the way back to the first stage and make sure there's no hoses tangled in that, and then you pull it right out, look all the way along its length and check it isn't kinked or it isn't tangled in any other hose. We'll then tuck that under our canister torch, or we'll tuck it in our waist belt, pop that over your neck and it can go straight in the mouth. If you're not using it at any time, always clip it straight up onto your D-ring. That way it's safe and secure, it's not going anywhere. And then you can fasten all the rest of your kit up then. It's that simple. The idea behind the long hose is if you have an out of gas situation with your buddy diver or another diver in the water and they approach you, giving you the out of gas sign, it's very simple. You take the regulator out of your mouth, drop your head, which allows them to take that. You can unclip your hose then from your canister torch or pull it out of your belt loop, and they've then got 2 meters of hose to either be in front of you, at the side of you, beneath you, above you, wherever. All they need to do is hold that regulator in their mouth. As you do the same, you hold the hose. You can communicate with them or get their attention by just giving a gentle pull on the hose and they can look round. And as they take this off you, you just pop this straight in your mouth and everyone's good to go. And obviously at that point, you try and make a safe ascent to the surface. But I feel this works a lot better than an octopus, because your octopus limits you to that diver being immediately in front of you, and quite often it'll not be configured the right way around for them. So that now is upside down, whereas it works perfectly for me. But with a 2 meter length, you can have them right in front of me, you can have them above, below, or wherever. So what I love about using the long hose configuration is the consistency and the familiarity. So whether I'm diving a single cylinder or I go onto a twin set, the configuration of the hoses in front of me are very, very similar. The only thing that's changed is the actual direction that my dry suit hose comes in from. So my drills and my skills stay the same. The main difference being, other than the hose for the dry suit, is the number of cylinders or amount of volume of gas I've got on my back. So I think that this lends itself to every configuration, as you'll see in the next video where I cover twin sets. My top tip will always be carry dust covers for both your cylinder and your first stage regulator. And when you're not using them, if you connect the strings together and screw them up, you can always hang that somewhere. You can even put it around the neck of the cylinder. But then as soon as you're stripping your kit down for washing down, take them apart, screw this one straight into the cylinder, screw this one straight onto your first stage regulator, and you can dunk them, rinse them down with a hose pipe, whatever. But that way you can make sure your kit and equipment stays clean and serviceable. Obviously, I'm going to now put a link to the video where I show you how to clean and rinse down your first stage and second stage regulators. So if you've got any comments or points you'd like to add to this video, please put them in the comments box below. I'll always get back to everyone that does it. If you've got any ideas for any other videos, put them in there as well. I'll try and give you a name drop when I do the video, and I'll give you a thumbs up as well. So thanks for watching. See you on the next one.
See you on Insta.